My speech is going to be about my career, actually, from developer to designer on HyperCasual. Uh, to make you understand what I've been go through, I will have a short speech on my previous experiences. I started as a developer on webletin forums. If any of any of you here remember them, they were actually they had a whole market before current CSS websites. I started developing them, but my first website is got hacked in 2 days. This was my first experience as a developer, and then I just wondered how this is going. This is happening, and what can I do to improve myself? And then I found out there's a language we call C sharp, and we can build so many bots with them. So I started to develop my bots to use on marketplaces like Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, and Amazon.mx. So I was making dropshipping from the cheapest one to expensive one, and I earned quite a lot of money with that. So by this time, I was also an addicted MMORPG player. I can honestly say that I was addicted to games, MMORPG games especially. So my addiction to MMORPG games and my passion to create something working on computer combined together when I just entered Marmara University as a computer science program, and then I start to imagine how could my game would be. How can I create my own game, and what would be the difference between the ones in the marketplace? Because uh, when you are when you love something so much, it's really hard for you to stand and watch someone is ruining it. And we can move to the next one. Night Online and Arcade. Those, those were the games that I was fall in love, and two of them was ruined by the publishers. They were not able to manage the game. They were not able to fix the bugs. So two of these games just died because of uh, lack of administration. So I was I started to play with European communities, and I was taking feedbacks from every player on that communities for around 3 years, and we were trying to collect every aspect from players that we play together to create the best game as a summary of the games that we play together. So, uh, as I mentioned, I was at Marmara University for computer programming, so I entered the industry as a game developer. But uh, before Trifles Games, I was working as a creative developer. So I was making GDDs, and then I was separating the jobs in team, and then I was coding by myself too. So I just realized that coding is not getting enough for me. I want something more. I want to have more words on game creation. So I tried. I wanted to have a chance as a game designer, and this is uh, where I meet Triples Games. Our CEO, Mr. Gökhan, is also developer background CEO, and uh, maybe because of this, he chose to give me a chance to be a game designer, and I'm very thankful for it. With this perfect team formed, who which is formed with perfect people, and every single one of them are experts in their area. This is why changing my career into from developer to into game designer is much more easy in Triples Games. So why should someone? We can switch to next one. Why should someone needs to change their career from game developer into game designer? Or let's start with what how is game design defined? Game designer is mostly defined with thinking out of the box. This people is able to think out of the box. But there is a misunderstanding on this topic. People thinks that thinking out of the box is having a limitless imagination. No, this is not true, because coding itself is limitless imagination. Because when you start to code on something, the only limitation you have is time and knowledge. There is no other limitations. But on game designer, there are so many limitations for you to be strict and find the solution inside of them. For example, if you are making a hyper casual, your core loop needs to uh, your core loop have some specifics. Your visuals have some specific, or your progress system have some specific rules to obey. You are not limitless. You have boundaries, but you need to find un- unthinked solutions for this uh, for for these situations. So, what what are the benefits of game development background on hyper casual game design? If you ask, we can move to the next one. By the way. I would like to give you an example first about a game named Prey. It was published on 2017, and just before 1 week or 2 weeks before it's published, they got huge feedbacks that there is not enough monster variation on their space station. So, in 2 weeks, it's impossible to design and code and implement new monsters to a triple A game. So their game designers, with these limitations, time limitation, source limitation, and the game scenario itself has some limitations. You can't just make up unrelevant monsters. They just made up. They just came with a creative idea: invisible monsters. Monster is invisible, but if they appear, they just start to throw you some things from the room, like desk or chair or something. This is how you spot them, and when you kill them, there is only an explosion effect. So it took them to code and design this 2 days. They implemented it, and invisible monster is the best monster according to feedbacks from players in the prey. So let's move into the benefits of having a game development background. If we just take two person as an example, one of them is game designer but no game artist or game development background, just a game designer, and one of them is has a background on game development or game artistry. You can just easily think that, who wants to be a millionaire. There is a uh, show on TV, probably on every country. They're asking you a question. There are four options for you to answer. Choose one of them, uh, and you are trying to find the correct answer. Uh, Game designer without no background on game development tech. It can be coding or game artist. It doesn't matter. If you don't have any of these backgrounds, it's like you got a question, but you don't have the options for solution. You can only think, but you can never be sure if it can be implemented or not. You always need a second view to think with you or try with you to check that if this solution is possible or not. But if you have one of these backgrounds as a game designer, for example, if I just give an example for myself, when we have an ideation meeting, I can just open Unity, create the scene, code some basic enemies, and check if it's looking like we dreamed, we designed, or it's something else. But if you don't have this, or a game artist, he can just create UI, a scene like me, and check if uh, it's looking good or not. But if you don't have any of these backgrounds, you always, as I said, you always need a second option, a second person to look with you and give you feedbacks. So, the first benefits that I want to say is problem solving. As a development background or game designer, when one of my teammates have a problem on development, I can easily check their codes or their projects and give them technical feedbacks, and which helps them to improve themselves and find a solution to their problems. But without this, I could only listen to them and good luck. This would only thing that I can say. Also, second thing is source planning. If you never code something, or if you never model anything, you can never estimate the time you need or person you need to finish this project on time. But if you ever just finish one or two projects by yourself, then you can estimate the time you need, you can estimate the person you need, and this will be this is something great for your team and your company also. Asking the possible asking the possible is something also important, because one of my friends is saying dreaming is free. Yeah, dreaming is free, and most of the game managers from publishers, they just dream and ask, but they never care if it's possible or not. But if these people or game designer have a background, they could easily know that if it is possible or it's suitable for mobile game or hyper casual game. So without any background, asking the impossible, it just makes you look like you are incapable of doing something when you say this can't be done. But if that person also have a development background, he will understand, he or she will understand you when you say it's impossible to do. And technically leading, actually, I talk about it at the beginning. Giving technical feedbacks makes your teammates improve themselves technically. So I got a couple of examples here. For example, Twerk Master. There are so many twerk games in mobile stores, and mostly none of them was having a realistic motion in the beginning. But as Triples Games, we just listened to one of our game artists, and he said he's quite good with blend shapes. And with blend shape, we got the realistic body movement on Twerk Masters, and then there are so many copycats also start to appear on market. Hair or cloth movements and some other things also solved by game artists or game development. But if we have a game designer with this knowledge, we won't be expecting our designers or our artists or development to find solution for market, because this is not their job. Their job is not to care about market. Caring about market is game designers' job. They just need to code or model something. Also, if I want to give an example from Unity, Blend Tree is 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 a quite great tool for you to use if you have limited animations for your character. As an example, you have a character slowly walking and running. These are two animations you have only, but you want this process look like smooth. So you need uh, speedily moving, speedy walking, slowly running, and speedy running. If game designer blend doesn't know about blend tree when and designs a running game, he will probably ask animator to animate all of these stages. But if game designer have this information, he would only ask to animation from animator, moving and running, and rest will be solved by game developer on Blend 3 on Unity. skip to the next one, by the way. Just before the end of the presentation, I want to just say something, some words about hyper casual market. Everyone is asking where is hyper casual going or what's going to happen. It's getting smaller, etc. The next one, please. It's not going anywhere. Hyper casual is in our lives even before the computer comes in our lives. As you can see, the water puzzle, this shaking toy, or uh, a medieval helicopter. Those were hyper casual games that we play even before we meet with computers. So hyper casual is a solution for people to rest their mind with less effort and have fun with less effort. So hyper casual will never end. And maybe it can go up like the times in pandemic, or maybe it can go down like the times right now happening, but it will never go out of our lives because hyper casual is a trend is which is older than computers. Thank you so much for listening.